Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviriyam Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So I assume that you read chapter 15. If not, you will do it. So to catch up with whatever we have read so far. But today we start with page 162, chapter 16. In brief, the book spoke about different bodies so far that we possess. The gross body that we can see, the Sthula Sharira, gross body, Annamaya Kosha. Then second layer is Sukshma Sharir, subtle body, which is a combination of different elements. I hope you remember starting with your mind, your ego, 5 Garmendriya, 5 Dhyanendriya. Yeah, so this combination of 14 is subtle body. And the third body is Karana Sharira, or causal body. And all three bodies were compared to the state of our consciousness, which means that all through the three bodies, or there's something which is common, and that's our consciousness. Yeah, so in the gross body, subtle body, and causal body, all in and through has the consciousness that operates. Similarly, now it talks about 3 states: the sleeping, dreaming, and awake. And all 3 state how the consciousness is already. All right. Introduction. After discussing the 3 bodies, gross, subtle, and causal, Sri Shankara, the author of Tattvabodha, begins discussing 3 states of mind. All ordinary minds have to pass through these 3 states every day: waking, dream, deep sleep. In the waking state, there is absolutely identity with one's body, and we interact with the external world. We work, experience pleasure and pain, acquire merit and demerit, become attached to the body. In the dream state, we go to sleep and see dreams. There is no end to the variety and content of dreams. Hindu philosophers have given a suitable place to dreams. In the dream state, the physical body is for the time being forgotten, and we are in different world altogether. Yet, that state is a shadow of the waking state. Finally, when we are in deep sleep, we are obvious of our body and mind. We wake up and say, I had a good sleep. So in brief, these are the 3 states of our consciousness. One, while we are awake, we know, we perceive the world, the external world. We know that we have a body and we identify with our body. In dream state, the body for a short period of time is not acknowledged, but it works through the memories and mind that we see the dreams. And in dream, we have our own dream world. And we do not realize that it is a dream. During that period of dream, it is so real that to us, it is that what we see is real. It is only after the dream is over or next morning that when we wake up, we know it was only a dream. And then third state, as it says, is the time when we go to sleep and deep sleep, when we have no consciousness, awareness of our physical body or activity of mind is at rest. Only thing that pervades at that time is our breathing, the prana, and the consciousness. So these are the three states of our being. Now, it will explain how this, in throughout these three states, what is one that is constant. These are the three states. Swami Vivekananda says, to me, it seems very natural that the glimpse of a religion should come through dreams. The first idea of immortality man may well get through dreams is that no, not most wonderful state. And we know that children and untutored minds find very little difference between dreaming and their awakened state. What can be more natural than that they might find as natural logic, that even during the deep sleep state when the body is apparently dead, the mind goes on with all its intricate workings. So it explains how the dream world operates, how it happens, how do we see dreams. Our body is at rest, but mind is active. Apparently, all our memories, all our samskaras, our experience, our impressions are surfaced on the screen of our mind, and different characters are created. Now, when we say it is created, because in reality, they do not exist. It is only during that dream time, for us, it looks absolutely real, although it is not. The mind, the mind goes on with all its intricate workings. What wonder that man will at once come to the conclusion that when this body is dissolved forever, the same working will go on. This, to my mind, would be more natural explanation of the supernatural, and through this dream idea, the human mind rises to higher and higher conception. Of course, in time, the vast majority of mankind found out that these dreams are not verified by the waking state, and that during the dream state, it is not that man has fresh existence, but simply that he recapitulates the experiences of the awakened state. So that is why it is called dream, because it is not real, but the mind has its own play, and it projects on the screen of our mind that it looks so real to us. Yeah. So there is a beautiful story in one of the Upanishads, I think it's Katha Upanishad, that King Janaka, who was very learned king and he was highly evolved soul, he had a dream at night that he lost his kingdom. He lost the battle with the enemy, and he was out of his kingdom and he had to wander in the forest. And the king with all the power, but in the dream, he felt and he saw himself a pauper, a completely worthless. He had no kingdom, no family, no wealth, no possessions. And he was just like a pauper wandering in the jungle. When he woke up, he called his guru and he says, what is real? What I saw in the dream is real. And it felt absolutely real to me, and I was so concerned. But when I woke up, I realized that it was only a dream. I'm really a king. I still have my kingdom. I still have my subjects. But it disturbs me that what happened during that period that I felt so real. And his guru said, not only what you see in the dream, but what you see now is also a dream. And that was the turning point in his life to realize that all that we perceive, all that we see is only an appearance. It's like a dream. And that is a very classic example of Upanishad. Swami Vivekananda says elsewhere, when a man goes into deep sleep, he enters a plane beneath consciousness. He works the body all the time. He breathes, he moves the body, perhaps in his sleep, without any accompanying feeling of ego. He is unconscious. And when he returns from his sleep, he is the same man who went into it. The sum total of knowledge which he had before he went into the sleep remained the same. It does not increase at all. No enlightenment comes. But when man goes into samadhi, he goes into a fool. He comes out as a sage. So the third state is deep sleep. And deep sleep is considered to be just one level below the pure consciousness. The reason is that during the deep sleep, you are not conscious of your body. You are not aware of your mind or activity of your mind. You are in peace. And that state of being in absolute peace and rest is the closest to being the consciousness. If you remember the definition of consciousness is Sat Chit Ananda, truth, consciousness, and bliss. That exactly we experience when we are in deep sleep. But unfortunately, we forget it moment we wake up. Moment we wake up, our mind starts operating. Our body becomes active. And when mind starts operating, it envelops the experience of our deep sleep. In deep sleep, we do have the connection with the higher self, but we are not aware of it. And that's why it is called the closest to being in Turiya. Turiya is the state which is considered the fourth state or the constant state. Turiya is also known as conscious. So deep sleep is something, and that's why the researchers and doctors or medical science says that everyone must have X number of sleep, which is in your deep sleep state. Because during that time, your body is completely at rest. You are not aware of it. Your mind is absolutely inactive. And therefore, the body and mind regenerates. Yeah. And through the invisible cord, we are connected to the higher self. And during that period, whatever we call during the waking state of gut feeling or intuition is received during that period of deep sleep, because call it grace or call it downloading of the messages happens during that period. There is also a theory that there is an invisible cord that connects to our Manipura chakra or near to your navel region, and that cord connects to your higher self, the other frequency. And because of that connection, this downloading happens. Downloading of good health, well-being, receiving the grace, receiving the blessings, and higher knowledge of higher self. All right, let's continue. What are these states? The waking, dream, and deep sleep are three states of existence. First, avastha. Avastha means state of existence. Root stha is the basis of this word. It means the state in which the mind remains at any given time. So the diagram explains on 164. The basic sthula sarira, also known as annamaya kosha, in waking state, jagrat avastha. The second is sukshma sarira, called tejas or manomaya kosha, or Pranamaya and Vijnanmaya kosha together becomes a dream state, a Swapna Satstula, Swapna Avastha. So important is this: when you are dreaming, what operates in the dream state? Tejas or Manomaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, and Vijnanmaya kosha. These three states operates during your dream state. Your Stula Sharira is at rest. It's not active. Yeah, your body is sleeping or resting, but your mind, so the mind has three faculties, as we know. The mind, which is the perceiving faculty, buddhi, intellect, which is a discriminative faculty, and both are powered by prana. Yeah, pranamaya kosha. So these three is operating to experience dream state. And the third is Karana Sharira, also known as a Prajna or Anandamaya Kosha, during the deep sleep. And that is why the state of deep sleep is considered to be the highest among these three, because that is the state when you are closest to your own higher self. So Jagrat is the waking. This state is the most important state of life. It is in this state that the soul can either get bound or be liberated. Whatever we do, we should do consciously, they say. And it is in this state that we can do that. So you see, many of us, we after studying this, we realize that the dream state is the most important or vital. And the least important is the Stula Sarira or Anamaya Kosha. But we cannot ignore the fact that it is because of the Stula Sarira we have opportunity to realize the difference, realize the importance of other state. Yeah. So as it says that in this state, the soul can either get bound or liberated. So if you perceive the higher knowledge and follow the wisdom, the soul is liberated. In other words, you become jnani. And when you are jnani, or when you gain a higher knowledge, you know that this is only a dream world. All what we see, it's not real. It's only appearance. So in that sense, the Stula Sharira is also important. Swapna dream, the cosmos itself is considered to be like a dream by the Advaitin. Yet in this dream, there is another dream when we see dreams in sleep. So this is a very significant statement. The author tried to compare the entire existence, the manifestation is like a dream, yeah, at a macro level. Similarly, at micro level as ourselves, when we are in sleeping and watching dreams, we are there. It is compared to that dream of cosmic dream. The cosmic dream is only appearance. The individual dream is only an appearance. It does not have actual existence. Sushupti, deep sleep, this is the state which is absolutely essential for every soul to enter into if it needs refreshing itself. Deep sleep and samadhi are different. So, although the deep sleep is closest to the higher self, it is yet not experiencing the higher self because it is not in the state of samadhi. So the difference between deep sleep and samadhi is very subtle, but it is there. It is only during the period of samadhi that you transcend your physical body, your mental body, and your whatever we call dream world, whatever is our activity of mind, you transcend all that. And therefore, you are in the union with your higher self, which is called yoga. That's why yoga or samadhi is considered as same experience. Let's continue with chapter 17. Now it will explain each state independently. Any point that you would like to clarify your question for
Acharya,
this? Yes, please.
the samadhi then technically happens in the waking state.
Yes, it does. It does happen. It begins when you are in awakened, so to say, in your awakened time, when you're physically awake. But it takes you beyond the state of awakening, dreaming, and deep sleep. So it is a journey by itself. And that's why I say, in my point of view, the samadhi is something that we do not do. It happens. How does that? You only go on doing a practicing of dharana leads to dhyana. And when you are into state of dhyana, at some point, you are into samadhi. You understand? It is not that you do certain things, therefore you are in samadhi. It just happens. The dhyana gets converted into samadhi. It's a prolonged period of dhyana. Remember, in dhyana, your mind is sometimes still active to know your surrounding, your body, your breathing. Yeah, you are aware of it. It's not that you are in dhyana or dharana, of course, you are fully aware of everything. But even in dhyana, which is almost a step forward, you're still aware of your breathing, your body, your surroundings. But if you stay focused on dhyana for a longer period of time, there is a possibility that you experience the samadhi state. Unfortunately, that state is something that cannot be described. So even if I had, let's say, 2, 3, 5 minutes of experience, when I lost the awareness of my body, my breathing, my surrounding, my thoughts, that is what you are into transcendental meditation or samadhi. Our trouble is, our limitation is that it lasts only for a few minutes at the most. After that few minutes, you are back into this world and everything is back to usual. That is why the Advaitian Vedanta believes that yogic practice of following the dharana, dhyana, and samadhi that happen is one way of experiencing the higher self, but it is not permanent. You are not in that. It does not mean that you are liberated. It does not mean that you are, let's say, awakened, liberated, because you are back into this, let's say, this manifestation, this world. Although you have glimpse of your experience of few minutes in samadhi. But the Advaita, what we are trying to understand is that if you remain in what is known as a meditative state, which means while you are awake, yeah, while you are busy acting, whatever you are doing, your mind is so clear about the fact that you are pure consciousness. This body, this mind, this intellect is only to help us go beyond the body, mind, and intellect. The classic example in our literature is that the pole jumper. You know, they used a long pole to run and gain the height to go over the your whatever is your level. But at that time, you have to drop your pole. You cannot carry your pole together to go other side. You understand? Similarly, we do need the body, we do need the mind, we do need the intellect, but use it to grow, to evolve. At that point, you need to gain that higher knowledge and drop the body consciousness and your ego or your mind and your buddhi, intellect. Because that time you realize that you are that pure consciousness. That's it. And not only that you are the pure consciousness, everything and everyone is the same. And therefore oneness.
That means, Acharyaji, means daily we are so close, means we sleep and still so far.
Yes, because if you are experiencing, when you wake up next morning and you say, oh, I had a lovely deep sleep, I do not know, I was lost. Yeah. What does it mean, I was lost? What does it mean, you were into deep sleep? That state, when you lose the identity of your body, you lose the identity of your mind, your ego, your buddhi, your intellect. Yeah. When you drop all that, that state is the closest to your higher self of who you are. But call it Maya, call it Prakriti, nature, whatever name, we are back to our routine when you wake up. And that is why every time when we are in Dharana Dhyana, I am trying to say that even when you start out of your Dhyana, when you start your day-to-day activity, try to have the glimpse of what experience you had during that 5, 10, 15 minutes. Whatever is your little experience. Yeah. Try to reflect that. Try to contemplate on that. What was that experience? And that habit will make you sit in dharana and dhyana again for a little longer. And that becomes your habit of sitting into the meditation. And then time comes when you don't have to do that because you are all the time in that state of thinking that you are, I am that pure consciousness, which is meditative state. You carry on your activity, whatever is your activity, as the performance, as the role that you are playing. But in your subconscious mind, in your very clear that you are performing role, I am only the witness. I am only the witness. So we'll continue chapter 17. The waking state. To the Jnanis, the waking state is no more real than the dream state. Remember the statement. It says, Ramakrishna's statement says, the Gnani, the waking state is no more real than dream state. For Gnani, even this state, when we are awake, we are talking to each other, when we are looking at each other, is nothing but the same as dream. To you and me, it looks real. Yeah. But for Gnani, the one who has gained the higher knowledge, for them, this is only a dream world. It's only a play, a show of puppets. One of the most appealing calls of the Vedas is Atishtit Jagrat, arise, awake. This call was re-echoed by Swami Vivekananda when he called upon the world to awaken to reality. We are sleeping, as it were. Though we are proud to say we are awake and alert, we are most of the time in a dream or unconscious state. Our activities, which are so limited, though they appear varied, are done unconsciously. Most of the time, we are half dreaming, half awake. The tiger sleeps, but is always alert. Its sleeps has been termed alert tranquility. Ours is just the opposite. Our waking state is sleeping alternates. You see how beautifully he explains. Our waking state is sleeping alertness. What is true awakening then? It is waking up to the truth. So when we say we are in a state of awakening, it is nothing but the dream. The real awakening happens only when you gain the higher knowledge. That's your awakened state. Why are we leading unconscious lives? there is very little there is very little consciousness in inert things. The universe is inert. Our gross bodies are inert too. So our lives are by and large unconscious. Further, we are leading unconscious lives because routine work does not attract much of our attention. Moreover, our minds are restless and filled with worries and ambitions. Anxieties and sorrows crowd the mind and make us listless. We do not do things consciously with full awareness. One more thing, the farther away we are from our true self, the smaller our circle are, moving within small circles, like the calf tied to a post with a long rope, is a routine affair. You see, it so beautifully explains. Imagine a calf is tied to a long rope. What does it do? It moves around and it believes that he has the liberty and freedom to move about. But it can move about only as much as the rope is long. It cannot go beyond it because he's tied up. The moment he gets free of that rope, he is liberated. So likewise, we have our own limitations. We think we are free. We think we have liberty to do whatever we do. But most of our activity is robotic. Because from morning to evening, we have set pattern of activity. Yeah. Whatever is activity, cooking, working, driving, whatever it is, it becomes so routine that your mind does not have to apply doing that work. It happens because it's your normal activity. So it happens without being conscious about it. And then the conscious or awareness is lacking. You are not aware of what's happening. For example, when you walk, how many times that we are aware the movement of our arms? Yeah. When your left leg is forward, why our right arm is in front? You understand? So when your right leg is stepping forward, our left arm is in front. Try to visualize your walk pattern. Be not aware of it, it just happens. But if you become aware of your steps, the size of your step, the movement of your arms or movement of your shoulder, then you are in the meditative state because you are aware of your activity. That is what it's trying to say, that most of our actions during waking state, so-called waking state, is so robotic, is so being done without being conscious about it. And that's why Eckhart Tolle says, be here and now, in present moment. When you are in present moment, you are automatically in the state of meditation because then you are so purely in the present moment. I will read one para and then we will conclude today. Why are we leading unconscious lives? There is very little unconsciousness in inner things. I'm repeating. And the universe is inert. Our gross bodies are inert too. So our lives are by and large unconscious. Further, we are leading unconscious lives because routine work does not attract much of our attention. Moreover, our minds are restless and filled with worries and ambitions. Anxiety and sorrows crowd the mind and make us listless. We do not do things consciously, with full awareness. One more thing, the farther we are from our true self, the smaller our circle are, moving within small circles, like the calf tied to a post with a long rope, is a routine affair. Eric Fromm says that our daily activity, weekly trips to the park or movie, everything is a routine. This shows we are bound hand and mouth or hand and foot. A contemplative person is always alert and conscious. his or her action are always meaningful. Such meaningful action bring fruit in abundance too. So waking is very important if we are to succeed in ordinary life. More so if we are to succeed in spiritual life is knowing the Atman. You see, the importance of this state, which we call Jagrata Avastha or waking state, is important because during that state, we have opportunity or chance to realize who we are in real sense. When we recognize that we are Atman or consciousness, then truly you are operating on a conscious mind. Otherwise, most of us are leading a life without being conscious of it, which is as good as a robot operating. We will stop here, and next week we will continue from this page 167. But as I said, we do not want to rush. Let us try to contemplate and understand what we are reading. Whether is there any doubt? Is there anything that is not clear? Because it can happen that we read at that point of time, everything looks very good, understandable. But if you contemplate, you may realize that how is it? It probably is difficult to believe it. So just in case you want to ask anything, any comment. Remember, Tattvabodha is the beginning of, in one way, it is the beginning to understand the spirituality. It is considered as a Prakaran Grantha. Prakaran Grantha is one of those early stage of our self-realization or self-seeking or higher knowing who we are. So it does not really deal with very deep consciousness or higher knowledge. It just gives us the primary information about who we are. One of my, I remember right now something that sometime back when we were in one of these classes, programs that we were doing a silence retreat and meditation, I met somebody who was, I wouldn't say teacher, but he was, to me, he was like a teacher, of course, about intuitions and gut feelings. And he led his life based on all his life. He said, I listen to what I feel, what my angel tells me, what my gut feelings tells me, intuitions tells us. And he says, I listen to that more than my head or my intelligence. So he was saying, I traveled from head to heart. I did not do anything much in my life. I moved from here to here. And he says, I listened to my intuition. Then he was saying how to develop that. And one of the methods, or rather he recommended two methods, which I very interested, was being alone in silence, and call it meditation or whatever. But he says, be alone in silence. You need not close your eyes. But if your eyes are open, just stare at one object or one point without blinking, and that will take you inward. Yeah, it says doors will open up, you will travel within yourself, you'll go inside, just like you are in meditation. And then when you are there for a little longer time, two things happens. You will hear some voices, or you have some sensations, and you will come up with some thought, which is, he says, out of the box. You are not prepared for that thought, and that thought will appear. Write it down. Write it down and says, that is the thought given by your angel. Call it, gut feeling or intuition. It could be very insignificant, but he says, do not ignore. And that's how you develop the habit of listening and acknowledging the intuitions and gut feelings. So the importance of being in silence, that was what I'm trying to say. Maintaining silence is so important. When I say silence, I mean not just physical silence or verbal silence, but try to reflect within ourselves. Try to talk to yourself. Conversation with your own self. So if we have no questions, no comments, nothing to share, we will offer the prayer and conclude. Om. Asato ma satgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, God, for giving us air to breathe. Thank you, God, for giving us water to drink. Thank you, God, for giving us sun for energy. Thank you, God, for giving us food to eat. Thank you, God, for giving us good health and happiness. Thank you, God, for giving us positivity. Thank you, God, for giving us all that we deserve. Thank you, God, for your love, your protection, your guidance, your blessings. Thank you, God, for the existence. Thank you for giving me a chance to serve you. Thank you. Thank you very much, and
Acharya.
good day.
Thank you, Acharya.
Thank
Wish
you very
you-
much.
Wish you a nice
Thank you.
weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Acharya ji.